What's happening? This is Mike Williams, and this is the Breakthrough Kings. I help men break through their personal barriers, find passion, discover purpose, all while leveraging the internet to create financial independence. Today is Transformation Thursdays. So on Transformation Thursdays, we always bring some sort of athlete, someone in the fitness industry, the health and wellness industry, to come share their testimony, share their story, and also give us some tips and tricks on how we can live a better lives for ourselves, both physically. We got a wonderful, phenomenal athlete, husband, father that's going to be on tonight. Someone I've known for a very long time as well. So it's going to be awesome to reconnect. I learned a lot about him that I did not know. So tonight's going to be a good one. I can't wait to bring out Tristan Smith. He's actually finishing up a training session as we speak. We're going to do what we do best, right? For those who watching the replay, hashtag replay. For those who are watching us live, hashtag live, and also let us know what city, what country, what state that you're watching us from. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tag and make sure that more people get the opportunity to hear this message tonight. We're here every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with real stories from a man's perspective, giving tons of value, bringing everything that we need to the forefront for men to absolutely open up, grow, talk, have great discussions on how they could be successful. We got what's called Weekend Warriors coming up soon as well. I believe I'm going to launch it next weekend. So every weekend, we're going to do Weekend Warriors where we have a live webinar where just men come together, talk on the webinar. I'll be doing some fundamental trainings and everything like that to, prepare everybody for the next week. Just prepare people, men for life, period. Point blank, period. All right. So again, make sure you're tagging, make sure you're sharing. It's going to be a phenomenal night tonight. We got someone who has all sorts of accolades as far as awards, trophies, certifications, D1 college. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be definitely a lit night. If you were here last night, we had Wealth Building Wednesdays. And I'm going to just go through the list of what we do each day. Monday is Make It Count Mondays. So we do everything that's motivational, personal development to really get you focused and in shape mentally. On Tuesdays, we do Super Tuesdays. We just talk about politics, the media, keeping you up to speed with what's going on with your money and so forth and so on. Wednesdays is Wealth Building Wednesdays. We're always going to bring somebody on to give you some value on how you can start creating some more income, leveraging the internet, or however you need to leverage it on Wednesdays. Transformation Thursday is today. And Fridays just a free for all. We come through. That starts Weekend Warriors. And we really, truly make it happen on the weekends. All right. Make sure that you put all your questions for Tristan tonight in the comments. All right. I'm going to put this message up. Any questions you got, drop them in the comments. I'm not going to let him go without answering your questions. So make sure that you drop those questions in the comments. It's important. People need to hear what's on your mind. And if he can answer that question, I know he'd be more than happy to do so. All right. Let me pull him on here. All right, cool. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, boss? How you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself? How's everything going? Good. Yeah. How's the family?
Family's doing well, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. How many kids you got now?
Two.
And what girls, boys?
2 girls, a 4-month-old, and a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Okay. So what's the dad girl experience been like?
It's been a beautiful thing, man. It's a bond unlike anything that you can experience. So it's an extra job too,
I hear that. I can totally relate, man. First and foremost, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. I know that you're busy. You train a lot throughout the day. Growing your business. So to take the time out to come to the Breakthrough Kings is important. I think that your story is important for a lot of men to hear. So I'm really excited about the conversation tonight. All right.
Really appreciate you having me, man. Thank you so much.
No doubt. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to 2001, between 01 and 06, right? Where, you've got a ton of awards, playing basketball, winning championships. You played in 2 D1 Division I schools. At that time, your mindset, what did you think your life would be like today?
That's an interesting question. I think anybody who has had really any type of success in the high school level, they're looking at professional sports of some sort. So I was no different. Felt like I had the talent to do so. But once you get to college, man, life kind of kicks you in the chest. There's a lot of moving parts that help humble you, but also help you grow. So for me, I definitely had aspiration of being a pro athlete of some sort. So I think from on my part, there was a lot of things that I can do a lot differently, as a young athlete to maximize my opportunity on the court. But for that time, it definitely created this experience for my life now. So I wouldn't
Mhm.
say anything different, but absolutely, I definitely wanted to be a professional athlete, which makes my story unique because now I take all of my experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and kind of pour it into young athletes. So that
Nice.
way I can try to just, if I can, just try to streamline the process for them on and off the court or on and off the field.
So, a young athlete that's, looking at play ball in college, you mentioned moving parts. Could you explain what some of those moving parts are?
In the high school, like in the high school
College
or
level.
college level. Well, college level is a lot different than high school. Is that as soon as you're there, they're looking to replace you. So that's a fact that you have to come to grips with immediately.
Okay.
They're looking for your replacement as soon as you sign your letter of intent. So that's quite humbling because usually in a high school, if you're going to anywhere that has some prestige to it,
Hmm.
most likely you've had a pretty good high school career.
Yeah.
So you're not really looking to be replaced like that in high school, but as soon as you get on college campus, you're looking to be replaced.
Wow.
And when you have that kind of fight or flight, and it can rattle your confidence if you're not rock solid in that. And I found myself in a situation where my confidence was going up and down. And
Mm.
an athlete that has that happen is going to have some issues. So this is why I try to preach to the young kids from my experience is to never let anyone shift your confidence. And a lot of your confidence is going to come from your support system in your preparation.
Okay. I think that might touch a little bit on my next question is, so it's June 2006. You don't get drafted to the NBA. How do you overcome not being able to fulfill your childhood dream?
The first thing is there was a little shock to the system. Like, man, my college career didn't go anywhere near what I was anticipating. But at the
Mm.
same time, as a grown up, I look at it a lot differently. There's thousands of young men and women that wouldn't mind have going through the experience that I have went through. So
Mhm.
I count my blessings for it. But at that time, I was devastated. Like, man, what am I going to do? But
Mhm.
then that devastation has to turn into some type of hope,
Mhm.
and you have to quickly adapt because life there's no pause button on it. So it's like, all right, what's going to be the next move? So
Mhm.
for me, I got into a situation to where I was able to play in the USBL, and I
Nice.
actually played pretty well in that. I was the rookie of the year, so I played pretty well in that, and it was all like NBA rules. So I was like, I adapt pretty well to the NBA style of game. It's a lot more open, and
Mhm.
so from there, it was just kind of trying to get through and get to the NBA through the back door, so to speak. So trying to get some footage in there, maybe
Mhm.
get an invite to a D League situation, and then from there trying to get my way in there. So I had a couple of good runs at it, but I just felt like it wasn't my avenue. So I started to accept that, but I knew that there was something that I had as far as my gifts and my skill set and my experience that I can, maybe pour into somebody else. So that's kind of where over time the natural shift got into where I'm at now.
Nice. So I saw you played a short time in overseas. How was your experience in South America?
It was a tough one. It was good. It was very humbling because I think when you grow up in America, we take a lot of things for granted. Man, I've seen a lot of things that I've never seen in the United States of America when I was over there. I seen people that they didn't have enough money that they was living inside of like a dump. They
Mm.
was in shanty towns inside of a dump, like a city dump. So that was you can't really get much lower than that. And as a family man, you know, just to have your family in that situation. You're driving a bus or, you know what I'm saying, a coach bus to a game, and you see that, it hits real different. So when you step on, when I came back home, that forever changed me. But I think the one of the things for me was just, to speak Spanish. So the language barrier, the language barrier is different, you know. So you have to adapt, because really a lot of the times you're ending up alone, because, you know, people are doing their different things and you're working on your game and everything like that. So you have to really be rock solid mentally, because you don't really have the same support system over there.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely helped me to grow. It was an experience that definitely propelled me to being a stronger adult, a more well-rounded adult, for sure.
That's dope, man. So, you know, you go from 2006 to 2016, this whole 10-year gap, and 2016 you open up FitLab USA. What inspired you to open up, to put it all on the line, to open a gym facility, which is not an easy business to get into?
I think that to try to put it to condense it from a 10-year gap. First of all, just taking that leap of faith to coming out to Texas, just looking at the cost of living, looking at the opportunities to even create some type of business. It was really strong. If you look at the map of the United States, it was kind of still in that green zone, so to speak, for economics. So that was appealing to kind of hit a reset button, if that makes sense. And then from there, it was like, what am I going to settle into? So that's when I started looking at strongly looking into the certifications for training. I felt that I had pretty good people skills. I always was one that liked fitness. I was always kind of one that kind of was a little bit creative in creating drills and exercises. So that felt good for me. So now it's like, all right, how can I expand upon that? Because I'm starting from meager beginnings. So I was fortunate enough to work 4 years at Lifetime Fitness in Mansfield, which is one of the top corporate gyms in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I learned a lot about the business structure. You know what I mean? Because as a personal trainer there, you have to have your business inside of the business. So you're managing your clientele, you're managing the amount of money that you have coming in and what you need to do. So I think they did a really good job of helping me to learn that, understand that. I even got an opportunity to be an assistant manager, and they really wanted me to move up in the company. Great company. But for me, there was something missing, and a lot of that was missing was the sports performance element. Anybody that's been in the state of Texas, it's big time for their sports. Like it's really big time for their sports. You can say that about most of the country for one sport or another, but Texas has a wide variety of strong sports, and they take their resources seriously. They if they find value in it, they're all ears, and then they'll pay to put themselves or their loved ones in a position to better themselves, to put themselves in a better spot for their sport. So while I was at Lifetime, I'm looking at the things that they do well, but I'm looking at some of the gaps that could be filled in the area. So I'm like, there's a void in this area, and I feel like that I could be somebody, and there might be some people that I join up with later on that we can fill that void. So that's when I started putting things down on paper. And then it kind of naturally progressed. I was training a gentleman who had his own construction company. So I would pick his brain about business ownership. Mm-hmm. And he told me one thing that stuck with me. He said, there's one of two things that a person can give you, and that's money or sweat. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I like that. I need to know what to do with it. Yeah. So as we're talking, he asked me, did you ever think about, getting your own situation situated? Mm-hmm. Yes, I have, but I just didn't know when the right time was. Yeah. Kind of looking at, I felt like the sand was dripping in the hourglass over there at Lifetime, and it was a really good time for me to go ahead and take that step. And he helped me to be able to create a build out for my new facility. And I knew I was going to have to start small, so that way I'm not drowning from the jump. So that's exactly what I did. Just kind of took that leap of faith and took what I knew, and then started from there. So I went and got my LLC, got that situated, and then we started plotting for a build out.
Nice. I love it. How hard was the transition from being the athlete or the talent to now the coach? You know, how hard was that transition for you?
For me, it wasn't that hard, to be honest. It wasn't that hard. I think one of the things that I've always been kind of in a captain role, so there was always some level of coaching on the floor. And I think even looking back, I probably didn't tap into it enough. So I think that capability was always there. So it was a fairly smooth transition. I think by this time, and that's where I was talking about the timing. I think by this time, I was already past me not being a full-time professional athlete. I think sometimes in your 20s, you're like mid to late 20s. If you're not quite where you're at, there's a lot of resentment when you see other people doing their thing. So that kind of came by, and I was able to make amends with that, you know, and have that put that bag down, you know, take that weight off my shoulders and not be resentful to others that I grew up with or I seen that are in my age bracket that are doing well in that area. Like that's their walk. I got a different walk. So by this time when I opened up, I was ready for that position to be a coach. So it wasn't a real difficult transition for me. Like,
that's what's up. Appreciate it. So March 2020 shows up. Texas decides to shut down the state, right? With the gyms not being essential, you know, because of the coronavirus. So how did the shutdown affect your business?
It affected it a whole lot. It kind of hit at a time where I had a lot of stuff hit financially. I mean, it was pretty much within a month after my youngest daughter was born. We had a couple other things that came up that we had to take care of. So it hit the wallet hard. It hit the wallet really hard because I recently, in September of 2019, I upgraded my space. I had the ability to come and take over a facility in the Fieldhouse USA, which is it's the premier sports performance facility in the area. So it's 100,000 square feet with 8 basketball courts. So I have a space in there that's almost triple the size of where I came from. So ever since September 2019, I've been kind of playing catch up. You know what I mean? To grow inside this space. Finally started to do that because I had a couple of really, really strong partnerships and events and things set up for the spring.
Wow.
2020. So it jammed up business a lot. And I'm really fortunate. I had to set up kind of a GoFundMe just to kind of just get some back pay set up. I do some of that. So I'm really thankful for a lot of my supporters, you know, friends and family that see the vision and get a part of it to be able to give me a boost to keep it going. And since that, we've been able to, you know, kind of get back shaking, and we're trending up. So I'm really thankful for that.
That's what's up. So unlike a lot of businesses in the U.S., you operating, you know, mentally, how were you able to overcome this shutdown? Because I don't think a lot of people would have been able to survive what you did over the last 4 or 5 months.
For sure. I mean, again, it's a blessing, man. I really thank the Lord. I thank Jesus for just being able to just keep me rock solid mentally and spiritually, because there are a lot of people that have not been able to survive this pandemic shutdown, especially those that are entrepreneurs or self-employed. Because there's a lot of factors that we haven't really seen before. And for me, I'm a face-to-face business. So that face-to-face contact has been shaken to its core, because you have a lot of people that are, because of their different situations, they're not quite comfortable going face-to-face. You know what I mean? So there's only so much that I can do virtually. I can do stuff virtually, but there's only so much that I can do because it's kind of a flooded market. It's a flooded market. So for me, face-to-face is going to be the best thing for us. So again, I'm really thankful for the people that feel comfortable enough to stay. We do our very, very best to keep everybody safe. We get professional companies come out and clean. We constantly have the disinfectant stuff. We're cleaning in between. So we're doing all our best to keep everybody safe and keep everybody in a loving environment. And at the same time, it's still an escape for people because a lot of people with this whole situation, you're not mingling with as many people. So
Yes.
you know what I mean? And I think there's a certain level of health and wellness that goes with, interacting with people.
That's what's up. So what's a typical day like at the Fit Lab? You know, you guys open at 6, you close at 9. What does that late day look like?
So for me, it's more of a split shift. So we kind of go with the school and work day. So we got your early morning clients. So a lot of those are private. So one-on-one or small groups. Then we have a couple of pro athletes that we train like in that mid-morning time frame. And then we have an adult boot camp that we have mid-morning as well, 3 times a week. Then usually the afternoon is kind of a catch-all. You know, we getting admin work done, kind of get some family time in, going and check on them kids and Hillary, making sure everybody's good. Just trying to juggle that. Maybe get a little bit of rest if possible. Then it's coming back usually up about 4 or 5 o'clock. Then that's when we have middle school, high school, and then we'll have some other classes that catch in. So it's usually a split shift.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, man, I really love what I do. So I'm like, man, this is my office. My office is a gym facility.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing. I don't look at it so much as work. I think the juggling aspect of making sure everything is somewhat in order is the biggest work. But at the same time, man, when I come in, man, it's love.
That's what's up, man. So what's next for Tristan Smith?
That's a great question. Really, I have a lot of different ideas. So really, I try to take it more in a day-to-day time frame than most business owners do, because again, especially this year, we see how quickly things can shift. So I just really try to live a little bit more. I live a little bit more for the moment. I try to live a little bit more for the moment than most business owners. You know, you kind of have your 1 year, 4-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. So really my best thing is to just try to develop this and have all of the classes that we have rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we can get another couple of trainers to come in here and expand upon that.
Yep.
I think that'd be rock solid for me right now. I also would like to try to branch out to do a couple of things with partnering with some different leagues and stuff like that, to where I can offer some of my skills with some of the different leagues. So I think more partnerships if possible.
That's dope. We got a question from Ms. Richardson here. Says, is he training clients virtually at all?
Yes and no. So right now, just kind of playing catch up from the pandemic. Haven't really been doing really haven't been doing much of any virtual training, but that's not something that's out the realm of possibility at all. I do have a couple of ideas to see what's going to be the most efficient platform. So that might be something that we can come up with, and if we have enough of a need or enough people asking for it, we can definitely supply that. So at the moment, no, but we can put a yes next to that. No problem.
Nice. Looks like Mr. Martinez has been at the gym. He says breast trainer in the DFW area.
Hey, I appreciate that, Mr. Martinez. Much love to you. Really appreciate you, man. God bless you and the family.
Nice. Do you focus on any particular sports when you train the young kids, or it's just like you train them all?
It's a great question. That's a great question. So again, this is kind of the maturation of FitLab. You know, we just tried a lot of different things, man. We do a lot of spaghetti on the wall and see what's stuck over these past 3 years. What works best for us is kind of a catch-all, and we go by age range. So inside of that age range, then we'll have basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, softball, all in the same class.
Wow. So
for me, I think what I try to explain, the best way that I can explain it is to first of all just try to fill in the gaps for what they're getting at the school or what they're not getting at the school. because most of the high schools have some type of strength program. So I know most of them want to do certain types of lifts. So what we do is try to concentrate on some of the other types of lifts. Some of your unilateral things where you're using one limb. Single leg movements versus just your traditional squats. Change of direction movements. Prehab stuff, rehabilitative stuff to reduce risk of injury. So we try to tie in. We try to tie in some of those things in order to make them well-rounded, but also try to build the trust value inside the community. Because again, we have to work hand in hand with the schools.
Nice, makes sense. Andre says, "Have you trained any well-known athletes?"
I've been fortunate enough to train some pro athletes. So I trained Jalen Jones, who played with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I trained Cedric Thornton, who played with the Cowboys. His really good years, he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. And he played for the Buffalo Bills. I also trained Alfred Morris, who was he was an All-Pro. He was an All-Pro with the Washington Redskins. Played for the Dallas Cowboys. Currently training Torian Prince, who played for the Brooklyn Nets, and then Michael Peavy, who's an All-American, who's going to Texas Tech. So those are my guys right now. Hopefully that list will grow. So that's one of the cool things about fitness. Things can change overnight. So I'm really blessed to have the clientele I have. I have a lot of really strong volleyball girls. We have a couple that play at University of Texas, TCU. A couple of beach volleyball players. So we kind of all over the map. I also got a PGA golfer, pro golfer, Tom Hoagie. So he's constantly matched up with Tiger Woods. So he's pretty big time. Yeah, he's Tom Hoagie, Hoge. I've been training him for a little bit. So he's pretty big time too. So yeah, we got a couple people in this thing.
Drew says, "Was there a difference in your drive direction from when you were single to being married with kids?" That's a solid question.
That's a really good question. I think it amplifies when you're married with kids because now you have more people that are inside of your foxhole. When you're by yourself, there's and when I say by myself, I mean single. You still have family and friends. You're still connected to loved ones. But we're talking about married with kids. There's a different energy spirit that's attached to it. There's a lot more riding on your decision making. So I would say that the drive has amplified since that. It's not like it was strong. It was strong when I was a single guy. Like I'm still trying to. I think that's one of the things that for me I had to learn how to be patient because I am driven. Like I believe that I can get it done. And when I didn't get it done, I felt very disappointed, and I was disappointing a lot of people. So I had to learn how to funnel that in the right way. But to answer his question, it's definitely amplified with married with kids because they're dependent on you. You know what I mean? Your decision making. If you act a fool, it's gonna come back to them.
Yep.
There's been times that you might act a fool as a single guy. It's only really on you. Like
right.
You go do your thing.
Because
I'm saying you have a family that you gotta look in the eye and say I'm tripping. So I don't really want to do that. So I really try to make sure that I'm disciplined and keep a cool head and make decisions that are going to make sure that they're going to be good too.
Nice. Javier says, "What country in South America did you play at?"
Uruguay or Uruguay. So it's like a 13-minute flight from Argentina. So they're pretty much neighbors. So I was there, Fray Bentos, and then I was in Montevideo, so the capital. It's a beautiful country. I definitely recommend it. Now it's on the south. It's south of the equator, so you definitely want to go when it's winter up here. Beautiful place. So I definitely recommend it.
Let's see. Drew says, "What was the motivating factor your focus and direction?" I think that's what he meant. What was the motivating?
I think there's probably a couple of things tied into it. First of all, I always try to make sure I'm representing the Lord with whatever thing I do. So just trying to be a steward for what He gives me, and I think gifts that you're given, you can use them for good or bad. So I really want to make sure that I'm that I'm uplifting and edifying other people. So that was always driven, and that was always something. So I wanted to do well for myself, but I also wanted to make sure that I can create some branches on that tree. So especially as I'm older and looking at things from a different lens, a different perspective, different vantage point, I think the motivation factor is how many branches on the tree can I splinter out. So that gives me great joy when I get feedback from my client, like, hey, when I was on the field, I felt different, or when I was on the court, I felt different.
Yeah.
Since I'm coming to you, you know what I mean? And it's really cool to kind of be a part of that journey because, again, you're using it for something good. So I think that's one of the biggest motivating factors for me.
That's what's up. I don't see any more questions coming in right now, but they're always gonna come in on the replay, so you might have the opportunity to reply back to some new fans.
Sure.
So, Tristan, for real, we appreciate you. Your story is powerful, man. You didn't give up. You kept pivoting until you figured out your lane. So I salute you for doing that, man. You broke through. You are officially a breakthrough king, and we appreciate you coming through, man. Anytime we look to see, we're gonna follow up with you, and we're looking to have you come back again some other time and talk about what you've been doing with the FitLab. We watch your videos all the time and everything you post on your fan page, so we definitely appreciate you. Let me see. Somebody's giving you a shout out. Andre says, I'm a head out, but I'm proud of y'all both. Y'all are definitely motivating me and others. That's what's up.
Appreciate you, Dre. And Mike, man, I really appreciate. Thank you for creating this platform. You know what I mean? I think one thing that we definitely need to do, especially within our community, is just being able to have a helping hand for one another.
Yep.
And so I appreciate you just creating this platform to even do that. Because again, everybody's kind of, like you said, in their own lane. They don't know. Sometimes you're in your own lane too tough that you don't even see and recognize some of the other people to learn from, you know what I mean? Or even congratulate. So I really appreciate that, man, and much love to you and the family. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, man. We'll see you soon.
Right on, man. God bless.
God bless. Man, what a powerful conversation tonight with Tristan Smith. That was great. But that's just a taste of what we're going to be bringing to the table. Drew got another question. I'm gonna make sure that Tristan gets back to you down there in the comments. How does the Texas market look right now? Very, very ready for entrepreneurs. Awesome. We'll get him to answer your question, man. In the comments, I already told him some new comments will probably pop up as soon as we get off the live stream. But again, this is Mike Williams. This is the Breakthrough Kings. We're here every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We help men break through their personal barriers, find passion, discover purpose, all while leveraging the internet to create financial independence. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all soon. This is the Breakthrough Kings.